What's up, champs? Welcome to today's video. My name is Sean Peterson. I'm a full-time seven-figure Amazon seller. And in today's video, we're gonna be breaking down whether or not you should be launching an Amazon product right now. And if you do, what is the strategy of launching that product with this limited stock that I can only send in 200 units? I'm gonna be breaking down all of the numbers, the data, giving you guys a step-by-step launch strategy, and also give you guys a unique perspective on how to launch a product. But before we dive into it, let's dive into my seller account and show you guys that what I teach is what I implement in my own FBA business. So right here for the day, as you guys can see, I've done just over $1,100. And in the last year, I've done just over 1.1 million. So if you guys are new to the channel, I'd appreciate it if you would go down, hit the subscribe button right here. That's why I have this big, huge light saying subscribe. Like the video, drop a comment. I appreciate the support. And without further ado, let's dive into the video. Okay, so the first thing that I want to break down in today's video is whether or not I should be launching a product right now with this 200 unit limit. I can only send in 200 units to Amazon, so does it actually make sense for me to launch a product? And the answer is yes and no. It depends on the product, and I want to kind of show you guys how I reverse engineered this to help it make a little bit more sense and to basically let me continue to launch products right now, because it's still an amazing time to sell on Amazon. It's just we need to get over those little hurdles and adjust and adapt. And that's kind of what Amazon is. The last 3 years of me selling on Amazon, I've always had to adapt and adjust to the different things that Amazon has thrown my way. And if you're not willing to do that, then selling on Amazon is not for you. I'll be very blunt about it. But if you're willing to make those changes, then there's a huge opportunity. So let's come over here and dive into my screen. And the first thing that I want you guys to kind of get familiar with is how to know whether or not you have limited stock. And more than likely, everyone has limited stock, but what is your limitation? So if you go to your Amazon Seller Central account, you're gonna go to inventory, and then there'll be a little inventory dashboard up at the very top. And once you click on that, you'll click on the SKUs to restock today, and then it will show you your limited stock and your maximum shipment quantity and your maximum inventory level allowed. So that's super important to know. And for most of us that are launching new products, our limited stock is 200 units. So what I did is I reverse engineered it and I made it, I simplified it, okay? So if you're launching a product right now, you can either launch a premium product or a cheaper product, but there's certain requirements to the premium and cheaper products. And so what I did is there's about 30 days in a month, and I did 200 units divided by 30 days. And that means I can sell about 6 to 7 units a day and maintain my stock for that entire month. And what's cool is after 2 weeks of selling, Amazon is then going to bump up your inventory level, so you'll be able to send in a little bit more than that 200 units. So at 14 days, you can then send in more inventory and replenish it. And so if we do the math right here, 200 units a month, 6 to 7 units a day, at the premium product, if we're selling a product that's $50, that's still a $10,000 product a month. And that's huge. And so that's what I'm looking at, is I'm finding products that aren't selling 50, 100, 200 units a day. I'm trying to find a product that's selling 6 to 7 units. Now, if it's a little less, if it's like 4 or 5, that's fine. If it's a little bit more, maybe like 10 units, you could get away with it. But the ideal is kind of that sweet spot to try to maintain that inventory, because as soon as you go out of stock, it's just an uphill battle. And I'll show you guys right here on my second Amazon account. I've been facing this entire year. I've been really bad at managing inventory, and I've had some supplier issues, and there's just some things that just happen in an Amazon business. And as you guys can see right here, things were going really well. This is April 1st to September 12th today. I've done 56,000, which I'm super happy about, but it should be a lot more, because I should be doing like 20 to 30,000 if I can maintain stock. And don't worry, I have more inventory coming in, but this is just to kind of show you I'm doing good. It goes up, I get my rank, and then boom, I run out of stock, and then I'm just dead for like literally 2-3 weeks. And then it's an uphill battle to rank again. And then I run out of stock and boom, over and over and over, you don't want to fall into that situation. And so with this strategy right here, finding that premium or cheaper product that's selling that 5 to 8 units a day, that's where you want to be, because you can actually maintain that level of inventory. So that's very important. And I mean, you can do this for any product. I mean, if you have a $100 product, I mean, that's a $20,000 a month product, selling 6 to 7 units a day. And you can also do it for the cheaper products. If you have one that's selling for $15, that's still $3,000. And this last video that I made, you don't need to do 6 figures with one product. You just launch one product, and if you can get it doing $3,000 a month, and then you launch another product, and you launch another product, there's your 5 figures, and then it just continues to grow. So don't get this tunnel vision of I have to launch a home run product, because right now you can't. And more than likely, even if you can send in a ton of inventory, it's gonna cost a lot of money. There's more competition, and it's just something that you don't want to kind of deal with, because there's more risk, you're gonna lose more money, and I mean, the list goes on. So that's kind of my mindset right now, is launching these products that are selling 6 to 7 units a day. And that's still a good chunk of change. I mean, $10,000 for one product, that's still incredible. That's like $3,000 profit. That's more than the average salary of a US employee or worker, okay? So let's come down, and now let's talk about what to avoid, okay? So like I was saying, if we're selling even 15 units a day, we're sold out in 13 days, and trying to get back in stock, that's just kind of a nightmare. And if we're selling 25 units per day, we're sold out in about a week. And so you guys can see kind of what happens if you just start selling 50 units a day, you're sold out in a matter of 4 days, and then it's gonna take another 2 weeks to get back in stock. And it's just kind of that uphill battle, and you don't want to do that. So don't set yourself up for failure, and launch these, and do yourself a favor and launch these products that are doing 6 to 7 units a day. And so now there's some alternatives that if you're wanting to launch, or you're already in the process of launching a product that's selling a little bit more, like 15, 25, 50 units a day, there's some different alternatives. A 3PL, so you can actually find a 3PL to store your inventory. So when you make an order with your supplier, instead of ordering 200 units, you're gonna order 1,000 or 2,000 or 5,000, whatever you're launching, depending on how many units a day they're selling. Then you're going to send in 200 to Amazon, and then the rest to your 3PL. And then as Amazon permits and allows you, you're then going to replenish that inventory from a 3PL, and sending it from a US 3PL is going to take like 5 days to get back in stock, and then also check-in times. And check-in times are super, super long right now. So this is not a killer or stellar option, but it's better than having all your inventory overseas at your supplier, and then you have sea shipping, and then it's 30 days. That's just kind of a nightmare. So that's the first thing that you could do if you have a product that's selling a little bit faster. The next one is you can strike a deal with your supplier. And what I mean by this, and this also depends if you're doing sea or air shipping, and I guess regardless, you can do this, but what you're going to do is you're going to order 1,000 units, and then you're going to have your supplier send 200 to Amazon, and then they're going to hold the other 800. And then as Amazon allows you to send in more inventory, then the units are already prepared, and all they need to do is ship. Now, if you're doing sea shipping, that's 30 days. So that's why a 3PL is super beneficial, because it's in the US and you can ship a lot quicker to the Amazon fulfillment centers. So that's the second alternative. The third one is you can store it in your garage or your house, store all that inventory, then as needed, you can trickle that inventory in, kind of like a 3PL. So those are the three alternatives if you have a product that's selling more than that 5 to 7 units a day. Now, if you have a product that's that the limited stock is more, then you don't have to worry about this, but I'm talking more for new products. So those are the alternatives. Now let's talk about the actual launch strategy. This is super important to understand. Basically, how do I go about launching a product? And the first thing that I'm looking at, and the most important thing with a product launch, it starts with your product research. If you're just launching the same exact product as everybody else, you didn't do anything to improve it, you didn't test the quality, you didn't brand it, you didn't do any of that, you're going to fail. That's just straight up how it is. So the first thing for a successful product launch is improving the product, differentiating the product, coming to market with something unique, okay? Now, I'm not saying just to include like some free keychain that's going to make all the difference. Like, no, you need to actually get creative and think about how to actually differentiate, bring value, and improve that product, okay? If you don't do that, you're going to fail. And I'm putting a lot of emphasis on this because this is where I see the majority of people fail. You can do all these other ones to the T, but if you don't have that, then you're going to fail, okay? So that's the first thing. The second thing is also super important. If you don't have the perfect listing, if you don't have good images, if you don't have good copy, title, and I've seen this with a product that I'm actually launching as we speak, I kind of cheaped out on the images and I didn't do any lifestyle images and I'm regretting it. And so that's what I need to do on this new product is I need to just invest and do my images a little bit better. And I guarantee as soon as I do that, my sales will continue to increase. So those two, I know they're super basic and it's obvious, but I'm telling you, if you don't do that right, then I don't care about your PPC campaigns. I don't care how many giveaways you do. I don't care what launch service you do. It's gonna be very hard to stick the rank, okay? So those are the first two. The third thing that I'm going to do is right off the get-go, I'm going to turn on the early reviewer program. This is gonna help me get reviews quicker. You basically pay $60 and to get to that, you go to your advertising tab, this drop down, and you're going to have early reviewer program. So you're gonna click on that, enroll in it. I think it's like $60. So you need to turn that on. Yes, it's $60. You're gonna have to invest a little bit in your product launch. So that's the early reviewer program. Then the Amazon Vine, if you are brand registered, this is an absolutely amazing way to get some reviews. It's the same thing, this advertising tab. You click on the Amazon Vine button and it's going to allow you to get up to, I think, like 30 reviews. And that's an amazing program. So those two programs are helping me get reviews. And then you can also set up like an email autoresponder. Amazon is super particular with how you set those up, so just be careful. Don't be blasting a bunch of emails. You can only send one email. You can only request one time for a review, so just be careful with that. Then there's also that request a review button. You can also do that to help you get some reviews. So that's how I go about getting reviews. And then the actual like launch part, I'm throwing a coupon on, and I'm trying to do coupons probably on the higher end of like 25%, 25%. And if you need to go more, you can, but 25% is good. And then I'm just pushing PPC. So I'm turning on automatic campaigns. I'm turning on manual campaigns, product targeting campaigns. If you're brand registered, brand ads, all of those, you're going to be pushing PPC. And I know a lot of people are scared to basically turn on these PPC campaigns because they're like, well, I don't think I can afford that. And if you can't afford the PPC campaigns, then you shouldn't be launching that particular product. So just take that into account. When you go to launch a product, say the product cost you $1,000, plan on spending probably another $1,000 on PPC. Now the goal with PPC is obviously the first few days you're probably going to be in the red, but as you get reviews and get ranked, that the organic sales are going to compensate. Basically the cost of the product is going to pay for the PPC. So you kind of have to have that mindset that you're going to have to invest in your business in order to get a return. And that's the biggest thing that people don't do, is they're not willing to invest and take that risk and take that chance to really push that product. I mean, you have a time window of like 2 weeks to really push that product. And if you don't push it, it's going to be very difficult to rank it 2, 3, 4 months down the road, okay? So you need to do these things. You need to be willing to invest. Don't take shortcuts, just go for it. And I promise, if you have the improved product, you have the perfect listing, all these the other 4 things that I discussed are going to be super beneficial. Now, if you have an improved product, you have the perfect listing, but you're in a little competitive of a market, then you're going to probably need to spend money outside of Amazon. So maybe Facebook ads, Instagram ads, working with influencers, maybe working with like RebateKey, doing some rebates. There's a service called RankBell. There's things like that the more competitive of a product, the more you have to invest in that launch. And so the products that I'm looking at, and if you do the products that are selling 6 to 7 units a day with low competition, you're not gonna have to use all these crazy services and spend all that money on these different services. Now, the services can work great. So if you're struggling and you're in a super competitive market, then you're probably going to need to fork up a lot more money than if you're looking to sell a product that's selling 6 to 7 units a day. So that's just kind of the way that I'm going about launching products. I'm sticking with more of the premium products. So the next few products that I'm launching range between $50 to $100, and I'm really excited about it because the profit margins can be better. Each unit you sell, you're making more money. And so it's going to be super fun with these different premium products, but I just hope that that kind of opened up your perspective of launching Amazon products right now. You still can, it's just the way that you go about it. So take notes, implement all of this, and you're going to succeed. And if you guys want more of my help, then go down to the description. I have a link to my Amazon Champion course. It's amzchampions.com. I'd love to have you in, guide you through the entire process, simplify it. When you have the ups and downs, you can ask me questions. I'm here to help and be your guide. The link is down below. And I just want to say thank you guys for the support. If you guys haven't yet subscribe, turn on the notification bell, like the video, drop a comment, and we will see you guys in the next video.